This is Riviera's 64 Sports Motor Yacht. Now the interesting thing about the Sports Motor Yacht is the SUV range. It's basically an SUV with an upper deck, and all of these SUVs you can have as a sports motor yacht, and all the sports motor yachts you can have as an SUV. So you can choose whether you want the upper deck, but the upper deck on this is intriguing. The amount extra that it gives you on the boat is remarkable. We're going to step on here. High-low platform is actually an option on this boat, not standard, and when we get to the front of the boat you will find out exactly why that is. But if you want the high-low platform and you want to be able to put a tender on here, you can do. You don't need it though. You don't need to put a tender on there if you don't want to. Now this is very much typical of the SUV style. It's what I always describe as having your front yard and your porch and then your house, because what they've done with this is kept this completely open. You've got, it's like a sports area, so you've got like a live bait well is here. You've got storage dotted all over the place around here. You've got it in places like this as well. And it's just a really practical, fun area for water sports, for fishing, whatever else. These are refrigerated, you can see, like so. And then on this side, we have got the barbecue, and we've got the sink. The other thing that we've got here actually is these look like they open the wrong way. In actual fact, the reason they're like that is because your joysticks are here, which control the engines, the gearboxes, and the bow and stern thrust to give you joystick control. And it means that you can stand here. This is where you want it. You want a bit of access from this side, so that you can watch the boat in. So that lives in there. We've got shore power as well that comes in down through here. It's got a Glendinning system, which means it's got electric retraction. So this whole thing becomes much easier to handle, because these shore power cables are a pretty serious thing to actually deal with. Storage in places like this. There's storage everywhere on this boat, but this is a particularly big one. And if we look over here, what can I show you? There's so much to show you on here. Just loads of areas of storage for, I don't know, wetsuits or whatever else you want to put. The whole point of this boat is it's a fun boat in the SUV style, but that upper deck transforms it. We'll go inside and I'll show you. This area here then, this is what I always call the porch, because it's an open cockpit area, but you can enclose it. You can have clear screens that come around it, or you can have like the mesh if you prefer, to keep the bugs out and let the air through. This will fold out to make a day bed. And you've got this really nice seating area on this side. It's a great place to eat actually, because you can sit up here, you're raised up, you're outside, you can air condition it or heat it if you want to, and you've got the tremendous view straight out across the back of the boat. That's very much an SUV style feature. If we have a look in here, a lot of the circuit breakers and switches and so forth are there, but there aren't any actual battery switches, because the whole thing is now electronically controlled through the C-zone. So it's all push button stuff. This opens up. There's also a TV in the headlining here. You release that catch and that drops down, and it means you can sit here on the outside and watch TV if you want to. There's an ice maker here as well, and then underneath that one is a bin. Sliding door, and then we are into the main deck saloon. It's a galley aft layout. There's a ton of refrigeration on this boat. So what you've got is fridge, wine cooler, so that's also a fridge. And then over here, fridge, and I think that these are freezers. That one there and that one there. So yeah, a lot of cooling. Dishwasher, Miele, cooking, all Miele, and then just storage everywhere. I won't own it all, but just to give you an idea. And in fact, there's a little home for your crockery here somewhere. I think it was that one. Yeah, there we go. So that means that all this stuff is kept really safe. It's all nicely wedged in place. Like so. They all cram it into everywhere. They are a very, very practical boat. Satin walnut in this one looks really good. And then more storage down here. You'll notice there's stairs that go up And of course we will come to that, but we're going to head forward. The other thing you'll notice immediately is no helm position. And that is tied into those stairs. It's also tied into the dinghy handling, and we'll come to all of that as we go on through. Grab rails all the way through the ceiling here and up here. It's designed to be used. So you've got that kind of stuff. You've got the big opening windows as well. Really nice dining area in here, or social space. You can just fold these up if you want to, and then those sections retract. Those are just to support these when they're open. And then another great seating area here. That's a nice social space. Big windows all the way around, great view out. Absolutely fantastic. Side door on this one, because it's a pretty long walk on a boat this size to go round to the back and then all the way back up to the front. So that just gives you direct access through there. We'll head forward again. This will take us down to the lower deck. And that strobing isn't strobing, that's just the LEDs getting messed up by the GoPro a little bit. What we've got underneath here, this is again very much a Riviera thing, where everything is so get-atable. So your black water tank, your manifolds for your plumbing, all that kind of stuff, bilge pump, sump pump, all that. All easy to access if it's ever needed. Let's drop that one back down. We'll head forward first of all. Plenty of doors down here, as you can see. This one we're going to go into first. And that is your VIP guest cabin. Plenty of headroom in here. Some nice lighting in the ceiling as well. That's nicely done. Twin hatches, they both open, so you've got a bit more light and ventilation. There's blinds that come across those as well. They are actually opaque, so you can't see through them. And we've got hull windows here as well, again with blinds that drop down over them. Loads of storage, so it's everywhere. It's all up in places like this. There's drawers under the bed, but also if you lift the mattress up, there's a big bin further forward, so stuff you don't want to get out quite so often, maybe spare bedding that you don't use very often, you've got somewhere you can tuck it out of the way. Big illuminated wardrobes. You've got your AV equipment. That's reminded me of something else I wanted to show you actually. We'll come back to that if I remember by the time we get to it. More storage on this side, an ensuite here. So the sink, the shower and the loo. Okay, that's the VIP guest. There's actually 4 cabins on this one. This one is the day heads. So that's through to there. It's also ensuite to cabin 3, which is through there. So if we come back again, there we go, cabin 3 is in here. What you've got here is 2 single beds, as you can see, but actually this one will power across to make that into a double if you want to. And as it loses that bedside cabinet, another one appears on this side, so they've thought of that. Again, there's storage dotted around up here. There's hanging locker in here, and that is the door through to the day heads. So at night that becomes ensuite, albeit that is shared with cabin 4, which is across the corridor. So if we wander over here, we'll find this cabin. Bunk beds in this one, adult size, and again we've got drawers, we've got a hanging locker, we've got plenty of places to put stuff away. Very good. Let's press on further. So as we go back down, so this is the steps that we came down to the lower deck. We've got a couple more steps down here. This takes us back to the owner's cabin. That is yet more storage, and this is for the owner. There we go. It's a big boat. You'd expect a big cabin, and you get one. That's very, very nice. Got a nice little seat over on that side. We've got the AV equipment in here again, of course. And then over here is the wardrobe. This is interesting. This is part of the C-Zone setup. So you can get into everything here. Start, stop of generator. This is all the entertaining things, air conditioning and so forth. The entertaining is because that's when the boat is stationary. You can dock unattended. You hit that when you leave the boat, and it shuts down all the batteries and so forth. In cruising mode, it brings in other features. So the whole boat is controlled through this system. And in fact, you can pick this up and wander around with it, and wherever you are on the boat, you can use it. What else have we got here? Well, storage in abundance. Look at that. And if we come on back, big hull windows again, so a great view out. this is the ensuite. But there's also a little secret in here, because we've got obviously the sink, and we've got the shower, and we've got storage, and we've got a wave, and we've got all the things that you would expect to find, there's the loo, in an ensuite. What you might not expect is a little secret door. If we go into here, utility room. How cool is that? That's absolutely fantastic. Obviously, laundry equipment is here. We've got loads of drawers in here. There's a load of storage about the place. You can see it down here. You can see it. That's not storage, that's electrics, but the C-zone switching panels and so forth are in there. You can have this as a crew cabin if you want to. What you do is it has the bed there, and then this closes off to make an ensuite to this cabin. You might think, well, I don't really want the crew coming through my bathroom and my bedroom to get in and out. What you've got here is access through the engine room and up onto the deck. To be fair, this type of boat generally 99% of the time is an owner-operator boat, so the majority of the time you would just run with this as a utility room, but it just means you've got that facility. If you particularly wanted to have an extra sleeping area, you could have it. And since we're in this area, we'll go and look at the engines, because they are in here. Now, the normal route to these is down these steps from the hatch in the cockpit, but since we're here, it makes sense just to trundle into here and show you them as we go past. These are a pair of MANs. They're V12s, and they are 1,550 horsepower each. They're given a boat about 34 knots, and she'll cruise at about 30, so she's a fast boat. Your range at that sort of speed, 30 knots, 350 miles, but typically, as with all planing boats, an awful lot of energy is used pushing the boat up onto the plane. Drop it back to displacement speeds, 9 knots, 1,000 miles. That's always the way you choose, whether you want the range or whether you want the speed. But of course it means you've got both. You can just run the boat however you prefer. We've got gyro stabilisation on this one. That's what that fella there is. And we can come right on back. And you can see the hatches. These hatches are down from the cockpit right at the back of the boat. So you can get into there without having to come through here if you want to. It just means, obviously, from a maintenance point of view, it just makes everything a little bit more accessible. If you spin on round, 3 tanks on this boat. We've got tanks outboard on either side. There's also a centre tank, which basically is a long-range tank. So it runs off the 2 outboard tanks, but it gives you extra capacity. Generator lives in here as well, as you can see. And these are on V-drives. They're actually twin-disc V-drives, and it means that the engines, the power comes out of here, goes through the V-drives, and then it's conventional shaft drive back out. You can actually see the shafts running down. No, you can't, because they're hidden behind that. Yes, you can. There we go. That's the shafts down underneath there. The reason they use V-drives is because if you had conventional shaft drives, those shafts would come up, they come up, the engine gearboxes would be here, and the engines would be in that cabin, which would not be very convenient. So put the V-drives on, sits the engines a lot further back in the boat, but keeps the traditional shaft drive, nice and simple. Air conditioning units, that's what's buzzing away there. And up here as well. Fantastic, let's press on a bit further. Lots more to see on this one. So we'll close that one up. There we go. And we'll shut that one. There. That always just fades away, doesn't it? Now we'll come right into here. And now all we have is the gentle rush of the air conditioning. It's like a little secret room, that, isn't it? It's brilliant. Okay, back out through here. Lots more still to see because we've got another deck to show you. We're back up through here. We've got those 2 guest cabins on either side. We've got the VIP cabin at the front. All the stuff that we saw a minute ago. Back up to the main deck. Now, I mentioned there's no helm position here, and that's what gives you this tremendous amount of space, because obviously normally you're sitting here driving the boat, not on this one. What you do with this is you head back here. There's an internal staircase, and it's basically a triple decker. Look at this. So you've got another saloon up here. This is fantastic for lots of reasons. Firstly, it gives you another completely separate zone on the boat. You've got TV here, brilliant place the kids can't do some gaming or whatever. Just means you've got different zones on the boat, but there's more that you can do with this, because that panel there and that panel there will drop to infill, which means that if you're running the boat at night, you can have this in darkness and everything down there completely lit without spoiling the night vision up here. This one's got opening side windows. It's also got the sliding roof as well, and you've got blinds on here. So one way is a bug screen and the other way is a night screen. And then this is your helm. So this is why you don't have that helm down on the lower deck. And your view out of here then is pretty spectacular because you're high up looking out over the bow. Again, loads of storage just tucked away in little places like this. I mean, look at that, it's just massive. And it also means, again, easy access to a lot of the wiring, plumbing, air conditioning, all that kind of stuff. Triple Garmin screens across here, two really big, nice, comfortable helm seats. You've got your throttle controls on here, you've got your joystick again, similar to the one we saw at the back of the boat, steering of course. And then that's the C zone. That is mirroring the one that we saw down in the owner's cabin. So everything can be controlled from here. But it means that when you're in the owner's cabin, or indeed wherever you are with that iPad on the boat, you've got control of all that stuff. There's blinds for all these windows. You can see how they pull up all the way around, so you can close this off if you want to. In fact, you can turn this into a bed here if you want to. So if you want a bit of extra sleeping, you can do it, or it just makes a really nice day bed if you're watching telly up here. And then if we come on back, we've got another area. This door slides, and we've got this outside area. So very nice seating area, tucked away, completely separate, lovely view. Again, it's about giving people different zones around the boat, different places to be, different places to relax. So whatever's going on, you know, if people are fishing out the back, you can be up here and have nothing to do with it if you want. And then these clear screens here just mean that you're really sheltered when you're sat back in there. Oh, we've got a Miami sunset going on. How nice. This one is fitted with another helm on the outside. This is an option. And again, it's because if you're fishing, you want to be stood out here when you're trolling, low speed. You can talk to people down there. You can see, obviously, through your screens, whatever else. You've got a camera on the front of the boat. So that is an area that you can use when the boat's underway, or of course for docking. It's a good place to stand when you're bringing the boat in, because your visibility at the back is fantastic. Little bar area up here, so your sink and your what am I doing? Your fridge and your sink and a bit of storage. Like so, it's been a long day. We're right at the end of a long day at the Miami Boat Show, but a successful one. So there you go, that's the upper deck. There's still more to see because we're going to look at the deck area and I'm going to explain, oops, there we go, why the high-low bathing platform is an option. Still waiting to find out, aren't you? Let's go back down here. There was something else I wanted to show you in here, wasn't there? Now, what was it? I know what it was. Check this out. This is all the AV equipment all racked out. Look at that. Again, all super accessible, really easy to get at. Brilliant. Good, knew there was something. Let's keep going. All right, back out the back. And we'll take a wander up. It does feel such a substantial boat when you're walking around the outside of it. Look at this, it's just huge, especially with that upper deck. Remarkable. Let's come right up here. Oh, I did want to show you. Back it up, back it up. All of the fillers, this one here is a fuel filler, have got gauges on them, so you can see exactly how much fuel when you're filling it up. You can see when you're getting near to the top. If you just want to half fill it, you can do. That's brilliant. I've never seen that before. So basically 82% full. That one there is the center tank. I mentioned there was 3 tanks. If we come on up through here, check out this bow area. There's storage dotted around the place, so if I move that fella there out of the way, coil it neatly onto the floor. Sorry, I'll sort that out in a minute. There we go, big storage lockers about the place. That's very, very helpful. And you might wonder why there's this big moulding here like this, and the reason for that is because you can have a crane on there and you can put your tender on here. And of course that's possible because the helm, if you remember, is up there. You couldn't do it on a standard SUV because you wouldn't be able to see past it. On this, not a problem. Helm's up there, tender can go here, so you don't need the high-low platform. You can get it right out of the way. In fact, they've even put a lift section here. You can see how that centre seat there has got a split in it, so you can lift that up and the outboard engine can drop into there. That means you can get about a 13-foot tender into here. That's very impressive. And of course, it's just a tremendous social space when the boat's not there. So it depends how you're using the boat. You might prefer to have the tender on the bathing platform. You can if you want. You might want to put a tender up here, I guess, and a jet ski on the back. So lots of possibilities. But yeah, that's a very functional area, and that's made possible by having the raised bridge. If we come right up on the front, another thing I didn't mention, it's got a built-in pressure washing system. There's a socket right at the back for pressure washing the back of the boat, and there is a socket up here. There we go. That one there is for plugging a pressure washer into, and you can plug it in, as I say, back in the cockpit as well, so you can wash either end of the boat. You've got two cold water taps here. You might think that's a bit odd. The reason for that is because one is fresh water and one is raw water. If you're just sluicing mud off the anchor, you don't want to be using up your fresh water to do that, so you can sluice it down with salt water. If you're washing the boat, perhaps you might want to use fresh water because you don't want to be pouring salt water all over your boat. Anchor winch control is there as well, and there's a backup handle so you can manually control the anchor as well. So it just shows the depth that goes into these, doesn't it? And that's actually repeated at the back as well, not just the pressure washer socket, but also the raw water, or salt water I should say, and the fresh water hoses and taps back there as well. Anchor winch there, of course, and a very nice ultra anchor nestled away in the bow. In fact, what they've done with this is they've put a camera underneath there pointing downwards, so that if you are controlling that from up there, you can watch the anchor come up. You can see when it breaks the surface, you need to start controlling the boat, check it as it comes up and so forth. That's a flip swivel, so if the anchor comes up backwards, it will automatically flip over and retract in without you needing to do anything. Nice bit of kit, that. Lovely. I think that is a pretty comprehensive tour of a pretty special boat. Let's go and have a sit over here. And I am going to take the weight off it. It's been a long day here at the Miami Boat Show, but a really, really good one. I'm going to say huge thanks to Riviera Boats. They have organised this tour for me. Massive thanks, of course, to you guys for watching it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we will catch you on another one of these real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.